So, good afternoon to everyone. I am Jnaneshwari, Assistant Professor working in Aditya College of Pharmacy with the specialization of pharmacology. So, I'll be dealing out with therapeutics of part 2, okay, that is the second therapeutics. So, in that we'll be discussing about the infectious diseases, okay. So, before discussing about the infectious diseases, we'll be going out through the antibiotic therapy. That is, what is the prophylaxis for antibiotics, like how is the use, that is whenever you go for any drugs out there, so there must be a rational use of the drugs, either it should be according to the therapy, and apart from that it should also be according to the economically, okay. So it should benefit of the patient, okay. So in such a way we'll just go out and discuss with the antibiotic therapy, okay. Along with that, within the surgical prophylaxis, how antibiotics could be useful, okay. So before going into that, what are antibiotics? So we are very familiar that antibiotics are the drugs or the chemical substances which will be active against the microorganisms. So within microorganisms, they will be particularly effective against the bacteria. So in the day-to-day life, we are very common, or we are very frequently using out the antibiotics. But here we will be discussing like how and at up to how extent should we go out to with the use of the antibiotics, okay. So that is nothing but the rational use of antibiotics, up to which level is it effective and what are its pros and cons within the therapy. We'll be just discussing it out, okay. So now the rational use of antibiotics. So generally the antibiotics, they are extremely important, okay. So in case of any dealing out with any drugs, okay, so in case if it is any microbial infection, so mostly with the bacterial infections we'll be going out with the antibiotics. It will be effective if we are using it appropriately, but if at all the use is being injurious or if it is unwise, so in such a case what will happen is it will negatively affect the patient, that it could cause up the adverse effects within the patients if at all its use is injudicious. So injudicious is nothing but if at all the use of the antibiotics is inappropriate or incorrect, so in such a case it could cause out the harmful effects or causes the adverse effects within the patients. And in case of emergency also, okay, so or else if at all there is any resistance occurring with the antibiotic, okay, so in such a case how we could use out it, and also the cost, okay. And also with the increase or within the cost of the healthcare, it could add on with the that is we'll be discussing out with the rational use of the medications, okay. So once again I'll just discuss it. It is nothing but the rational use of antibiotics. It is extremely important if we use them in a appropriate way. If at all it is like the therapy it is not accurate, then in such a case it could add up for the adverse, like it will adversely affect up the patient and it could cause the antibiotic resistance, okay. And apart from it, if at all there is no use and you are taking out the medication, then it will finally cause out the effects, that is nothing but it will be adding out the cost effect to the patient, okay, so which is uneconomical, okay. So then in which case do we need out a antibiotic, okay. So there are a few cases, like we'll discuss them, where the antibiotics are appropriately needed, okay. So the antibiotics, we know that they are effectively needed for the treatment of the bacterial infections, okay. So mostly for the bacterial infections we will be going out with the antibiotics. But in such a case, like what will happen is there will be cases where apart from the bacterial infection, mostly there are other pathogens, right. There will be viral, fungal and many other infections, or the pathogens are being produced. But if at all it is of the viral origin, like most of the cases it will be having out the viral origin, then in such a case our antibiotics, they will not be that effective, Okay, so it will neither treat out the viral infection, nor it will be causing nor it will be preventing out the secondary bacterial infections. Okay, so in such a case the need of antibiotic, it is not essential, right? So it will appropriately add on to the cost of the patient without benefiting the patient. Okay, and apart from it, so whenever there is a bacterial etiology, that is a causative organism which is of a bacteria. Okay, so if at all a bacteria is being established which is a causative organism for any particular disease. Okay, so then what will happen out is where the antibiotic will not be necessary. If at all the bacteria, it could come and it could go away. That is something like for few drugs the medication, it will not be necessary. Okay, so even if it is of a bacterial etiology also, like we know it is of a bacterial infection, but in few cases, like for the acute cases, what will happen is the use of antibiotics, it will not be it is not needed, because our body's immune system will be acting out in such a way that our body, it can fight the defense against the bacterial pathogens. So in such a case the bacteria, that is the antibiotics are they are not needed. Okay, and apart from it, in the cases such as the pus formation, so whenever we go out for any surgical preparations or whenever any surgical drainings are being occurred out, so what we will be doing out is we will be collecting out the pus that is formed out within the body, right? And if the drainage is being accurate, that is the pus, it has been collected out accurately, then what will happen is the antibiotics will not be required, because we have already cleared out the site. And if at all we require the antibiotics, we will be giving them in only appropriate way or in a dosage which will be effective to the patient, but giving on more antibiotics, it will not at all benefit the patient. Okay, and as we have said, so many bacterial infections, they could resolve by themselves, that is spontaneously itself the bacterial infections, they could be resolved. Okay, so when should we go out for the antibiotics? That is, the next topic is nothing but the selection of the antibiotics. So in which case do we require the antibiotics? Okay, so the four main factors in which the antibiotics are essential are depending upon the etiological agent. Etiology is nothing but the depending upon the causative agent. So depending upon the causative agent, we will be going out for the antibiotic therapy. If it is a chronic pathogen, okay, or if it is worsening the condition, that is if at all it is a more chronic pathogen, then we will be going out spreading the antibiotic therapy. Okay, so the first one is it will be dependent upon the causative agent or the etiological agent, and the next one is it will be depending upon the patient factors. Okay, that is depending upon the patient condition and his immune system and many other parameters, where we will be checking out the patient's parameters and then we will be going out for the antibiotic therapy. And the next one is we will be going out with the pharmacokinetic properties, and along with the pharmacokinetic properties we will be going out with the dosage selection of the antibiotics. Okay, so the next factor will be upon the pharmacokinetic properties and its dosage selection. And the final one is depending upon the efficacy of the therapy, that is whether it is producing the whether it is benefiting the patient. Okay, so that is nothing but the efficacy. How better is your treatment? Is it worsening the patient's condition or is it uplifting the patient's condition? Okay, so depending upon these four parameters, we will be going out for selection of the antibiotics. Now we will discuss them one by one with examples. Okay, so the first one is depending upon the etiological agent. Okay, so whenever the etiological agent it is being determined, then we will be going out for the combination, that is we will be checking out for the clinical acumen and laboratory support. So clinical acumen is nothing but the clinical awareness. Okay, so whenever we come to whenever a physician, like a patient has been entered with a disease or with few symptoms, then we will be analyzing the data, right? So we will be, by depending upon the symptoms and by the characteristics of the patient, that is physical characteristics of the patient, and depending upon the symptom, we'll come to an awareness, right? And along with that, we'll be also going out for the laboratory support, that is nothing but for the diagnosis aspect. So both these, depending upon both the clinical acumen as well as the laboratory support, we can determine the etiological or the causative agent. Okay. And even there, so when we got a bacteriological report available, so every time it is not necessary, okay, sorry. So whenever we get a bacteriological report, okay, so after the diagnosis we got the report. So by that, what we will be doing out is, we have to again interpret the report, that is we have to check out the report, and then we will be going out for the therapy, okay, that is we will be going out for the antibiotic therapy that is intended to be given to the patient, okay. And whenever we go out for the culturing, okay, that is whenever we go out for the specimen testing, so what will happen is, at times it will not be always accurate, okay, that is the true pathogens will always not be produced because there could be contamination, that is mixing out where the normal flora that is present within our body could mix up with the culture, and apart from it, few colonizers or contaminants could be mixed up rather than the true pathogen that is causing out the effect or causing out the disease. Okay, so depending on this, we have to check out, okay, so depending upon the laboratory report, whatever it has been obtained, so we have to also interpret the report, and we have to check whether, like, what is the exact causative organism that is causing out the disease. Okay, and mostly sensitivity test, it will be very useful, okay, to check out the treatment. Okay, so few there will be few sensitivity parameters will be available, so by that we'll be checking out with the depending upon the etiological agent, we'll be going out for the antibiotic therapy. And the next one is depending upon the patient. So depending on the patient parameters, we will be going out with several factors like the age of the patient, okay, and also with the other factors like depending upon the dosage, okay, so all these could be checked out. Okay, so firstly, if at all we go out with the age, okay, so there will be a major difference between the normal, that is the neonates and the geriatrics along with the adults. Okay, so the neonates and the geriatrics, they will be having one kind of, that is the dosage, it will generally vary up compared with that of adults, okay, because the body functioning, forming and the defense mechanisms, they will be completely differed within the neonates and the geriatrics. Okay, so as so this is what the young people and the old, so they will be more prone where they will be getting out the side effects of the antibiotics. This is because, so if at all it is with the neonates, okay, so for younger children what will happen up is, so the liver and the renal, they will be immature, okay, that is the liver, it will be immature because at the time they are being still in the infant state. So what will happen up is, their liver is not completely formed, and even the renal functions, they will also be not completely attained. So in such a case, what will happen is, the metabolism and the excretion process, okay, so it will be affected where the antibiotics, they will affect the metabolism and the excretion. So because of this metabolism and excretion, either the drug, it could get stored up within the body and it could cause side effects to the growing tissues or to the growing bodies. Okay, so it will be adversely affecting within the tissues and the organs within the children. So this is in case of the neonates where the antibiotic, it could affect the liver and the renal functions because they are being immature. Okay, and next is in case of the elders. Okay, so mostly the elders, they will be more susceptible to nephrotoxicity, that is kidney toxicity, and along with that they could go out with the allergic reactions within their body. So whenever we give out the antibiotics, so what could happen up is many toxic reactions could be produced up in patients, okay, because they are more prone to because the functioning of their body, it will get simultaneously decreased up, okay. So in such a case, this antibiotics, they could cause up the adverse effects within their body. So the example here is whenever we go out with the sulfonamides, which are used for treating of the bacterial infections, okay. So what will happen is this sulfonamides, whenever the patients who are resistant or who are having a deficiency of glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase, so what will happen is they will get out the side effects causing out the that is the metabolism parameter, it will be deferred, okay. So with the patients who are having the deficiency of glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase, okay. So this could be in case of not only elders, in the normal adults also, okay. So in such a case, we have to check out the parameter that is concerning with the age. Okay, and next is at times of pregnancy. So whenever any pregnant women is present, or if at all they are having any sort of infections, so in such a case mostly we have to try to avoid the antibiotic therapy, because it could cause up many side effects. Okay, and next is, so if at all we want to give out any drugs to those to the pregnant women, then we can go out for the beta lactam antibiotics or with the erythromycin, which are considered to be safe compared to the other antibiotic therapy. Okay, so that is with the pregnancy. And at times of any infections, so there could be many chronic infections, just like meningitis and bacteremia. So within bacteremia, so we know meningitis, it is the inflammation of the brain, where generally the bacteria, they will get invade and they will be producing up the actions, right. So in such a case, what will happen is we have to go immediately with the best available antibiotic. Okay, so we have to find out the bacterial pathogen, and then we have to go with the antibiotic that will be acting effectively against the pathogen. Okay, so if at all we are going out with like if at all we get out the drug, and we like if at all we identify the bacteria and we give out the drug, so in such a case the rate of mortality as well as morbidity, it will be slightly decreased if at all we go for the immediate action for these chronic types of infection. Okay, and there could be less serious infections. Okay, so those are something like chronic, where if at all they are not treated at right time, it could finally lead to the death of the patient, right. So there could be another few less serious infections, just like otitis media, that is nothing but the inflammation within the middle ear. Okay, so in such cases, what will happen is the recovery rate will be generally spontaneous. Okay, so if at all you go out with the antibiotic therapy or not, generally they will go out recovering at a faster rate. Okay, so in such a case, so we have to go out with the antibiotics that will be covering out the organism at an adequate rate. Okay, so that is about the infections. And next, if at all the patient is having any hepatic or renal impairment, then we have to go for the careful dosage adjustment within those patients, because it could lead to the accumulation of the drug causing the toxic effects or adverse side effects within the patient. And the next factor is depending upon the pharmacokinetic parameters and the dosage. Okay, so mostly the pharmacokinetic parameters, it will be including up is mostly it will be depending upon the route of administration, its therapeutic concentrations. Okay, so mostly within the route of administration, like depending upon the route of administration, the antibiotic therapy, it could differ up. Okay, so mostly few drugs, they will get absorbed orally well, and whereas the few they could cross up with the blood brain barrier. So we have to check out, in case if it is a meningitis, so we have to check out the drugs which could cause out the blood brain barrier more easily, and if we go out giving through the oral dose, they may or may not cross. So a careful route of administration is generally essential. Okay. And next is the therapeutic concentration. So generally the ability of the antibiotic, so for the therapeutic concentrations, it will be generally dependent upon the site of the infection. Okay. And mostly if at all, just for example, if the infection is the UTI infection, that is urinary tract infection, then we have to concentrate the drugs, that is the drugs, they should be effectively acting within the urine, so that the infection within the urinary tract, so that the infection, it could be cleared out most effectively. That is the site of infection where it has occurred is important, where the drugs, they should actually act at the site of infection without causing any side effects. Okay, and next is the physician, they should also be aware of the drug-drug interactions that are being caused, and also apart from the antibiotics, there could be a few concomitant drugs that will be administered. So in such a case, the physician, he must be accurately selecting out the drugs, because few antibiotics, they could cause the reaction with the within the other drugs. Okay. And next is the patient compliance is also very important, that is whether the patient is being benefited with the treatment or not. So those parameters are also to be checked out. Okay. And next, this is the general representation, where within the that is a treatment, it should be required within a minimum duration of time. Okay. So for few infections, okay, what could be the treatment, like how much for how much duration should the treatment be effective. Okay, so that is to be discussed here, where tuberculosis, where the treatment, it has to be continued up to 4 to 6 months. If at all we are using the medications for 4 to 6 months effectively, then the disease, it could go up, that is the recovery from the disease could be obtained, where the pathogen or the bacterial pathogen, it could be cleared off very easily without causing any resistance back. Okay. And next, in case of emphysema and lung abscesses, the same, where 4 to 6 weeks of therapy is essential. And in case of endocarditis, so 4-week therapy will be essential. And osteomyelitis, 4 weeks. Atypical pneumonia, which goes for where the treatment should continue for around 2 to 3 weeks. And pneumococcal meningitis and pneumococcal pneumonia, where 7 to 5 days treatment is essential. Okay, so we have to go out checking for the drugs, where with a minimum concentration, how effective is the antibiotic therapy acting. So we have to check out the duration of action and what type of pathogen is being involved within the disease. Okay, and the fourth parameter is depending upon the efficacy of the therapy. Okay, so here we will be going out with the response. Okay, how the patient is being responding to the treatment. So whenever we go for any medication, that is for any disease, so why we will be going, we will be mostly going to check out, like to cure our symptoms, right? So if at all we are taking the drug and there is no use, then it will whether it is worsening or the condition or it is maintaining the same, a response is to be produced, that is a review has to be done. So this will be done up mostly by the physician. Okay, where generally after mostly for the antibiotics, 1 week therapy will be given out. So within 1 week we have to check out for the response, whether the patient, he has overcome the symptoms or whether the symptoms, they have been increased up. Okay, so all these parameters are to be checked. That is nothing but we are just once again reviewing the data of the drugs, whether the drugs are acting or they are benefiting to the patient or they are worsening the condition. Okay, so within this, so the doctor, depending upon the therapy, okay, if at all it is appropriate or not, he will be deciding. Okay, so after the review has been done, so the doctor, he has to decide whether he has to continue up the therapy with the drugs that are present, or should he increase the treatment. That is, he'll be deciding up whether to increase or decrease the treatment. If at all he wants to increase the treatment, then what he'll be doing out is, he'll be going out from the oral to parenteral route. Okay, where we know the parenterals, they are most effective because they will be crossing out like the bioavailability of the parenteral route is more compared with the oral route. So in such a case, if at all the treatment level it has to be increased, then the patient, he could go out, that is the physician, he could go out from the oral to the parenteral therapy. And he could also change up with the broad spectrum antibiotics. Okay. And if at all he wants to decrease the treatment, so in such a case he could go out from the parenteral to oral treatment. So generally for the therapy, what the physician will be doing out is, first initially they will be giving out the loading dose, where within the loading dose a larger quantity of the drug will be given, and simultaneously in the next maintenance dose, what they will be doing is, they will be slowly decreasing up the dose. Okay, so this will be continued if at all only the regimen is being acting, that is the person, if the patient, if he is benefited, then the treatment will be slowly gradually decreased up. Okay, if the treatment is not effective, then the patient, he could either change out the drug therapy or go for another drug usage. Okay, and if at all the infection, it has not been resolved, so the patient, like the physician, he could stop out the antibiotic therapy and he could go out for the another drugs. And next is with the microbiological reports. Okay, so we will be checking out for the microbiological report that have been obtained. Okay, so if at all the patient is responsible, like whether there are any changes within the antibiotics within the lab reports, that is, once the lab reports are being obtained, so either if the patient is being benefited by the drug and the causative organism is generally more sensitive, then because the patient is being benefited, so there will be no there is no appropriate need to change out the medication. But if at all the patient isn't benefited, and even if the causative like the causative organism is sensitive, then we have to change out the drug therapy. Okay, so all this, it will be dependent upon the microbiological reports. Even if we get out the reports, so we have to carefully attain the information to check out whether the benefit is being occurring to the patient. Okay, the benefit through the therapy. Okay, and if at all the patient is not responding to the treatment, then what are to be done? Like what are the major causes for a patient to not respond to the symptom, that is not respond to the antibiotic? Okay, so there will be different causes or different reasons where the patient, he couldn't respond to the therapy. That is either the causative organism that has caused up the resistance against the drug, where it is acting through another way and it is producing out the symptom, or if it is worsening out the condition. So the first one will be is depending upon the etiological agent or the causative agent, where it is causing out the resistance. And the next is if at all the diagnosis is incorrect. Okay, so whether the microbiological assays, okay, if at all they are not correct and the treatment is being given for assuming another pathogen, another species, so for another species, if at all the treatment has been given, so it will not be effective. So we have to check whether, like the reason could be if the diagnosis is incorrect, and though if the antibiotic is correct, the dosage may vary, that is the dosage administration or whether the route of administration also could vary. So in such a case, the patient could not get benefit from the therapy. Okay, and next is if at all the antibiotic, if it couldn't reach the site of infection. Okay, and if at all any pus formation is being present and the pus, it isn't being removed. Okay, so in such a case also, like if at all the pus it hasn't been removed through the surgical devastation. So in such a case, if at all you give out the antibiotic therapy also, it will not be that effective. So firstly you have to clear out the pus, that is you have to drain or aspirate the pus, then you will be going, then you should go out for the therapy, then only it will be more effective. Okay, and if at all the cause is secondary, and whether the antibiotics if at all it is producing up any side effects and any non-compliance is being produced by the host. Okay, so in such a case, all these they could contribute to the what you call not responding to the treatment. Okay, that is not responding to the antibiotic treatment. And next is mostly the oral antibiotics, they are to be selected. Okay, so depending upon the laboratory as well as within the clinical findings. Okay, and if at all the person is being benefited by the treatment, we have to convert, that is the intravenous what you call intravenous therapy, it has to be converted to the oral therapy, that is the dosage it has to get decreased up. Okay, so this is about the causes of non-response to the antibiotics.